Welcome to my channel. Today I want to share something that can completely shift your life if you actually commit to it. A 30-day success plan that takes you from where you are right now to where you've been trying to get for years. Think about it like this. Most people wait for the right time to start, but the truth is the right time never comes. The only thing that changes your future is what you choose to do with the next 30 days. So here's the plan. Step 1 is to audit your current life. That means writing down exactly where your time is going, what habits are draining your energy, and how you're spending your money. It's uncomfortable, but it's also freeing because for the first time, you're being brutally honest with yourself. If you don't know where you stand, you can't possibly plan where to go. Step 2 is to set one clear target. Don't overwhelm yourself with 5 or 10 different goals. Pick the single most impactful area of your life you want to change, whether it's health, finances, mindset, or productivity, and lock in on that one thing. Clarity is power. When you focus your energy in one direction, progress happens faster than you expect. Step 3 is to build daily non-negotiables. These are small but consistent actions that move you closer to your target every single day. Maybe it's spending 1 hour learning a new skill. Investment. Maybe it's saving a set amount of money, or maybe it's committing to exercise. Whatever you choose, these are not optional. They're the foundation of your transformation. And finally, step 4 is to measure and adjust weekly. Investment. Every 7 days, look back at what you did, what worked, and what didn't. If something's wasting time, cut it out. If something's giving results, double down. Success is not about perfection. It's about consistent, intelligent adjustments over time. Follow this plan for just 30 days and you won't even recognize the person you were a month ago. The very first step in this 30-day plan is to audit your life. And I don't mean just thinking about it in your head. I mean writing it down, facing the numbers, facing the truth. Most people never do this because it's uncomfortable. It's easy to say, I'll start tomorrow, or I already know what's wrong. But when you actually put pen to paper, when you track every single detail, it forces you to deal with reality. And reality is the foundation for any transformation. Think about your day right now. From the moment you wake up, where does your time actually go? Are you reaching for your phone first thing in the morning, scrolling for an hour, convincing yourself it's just a few minutes? Are you spending hours in the evening binge, watching shows, even though you tell yourself you don't have enough time to work on your goals? Those little patterns add up, and until you see them in front of you, it's almost impossible to understand how much control they have over your life. So the audit begins with time. Track a full day. Write down what you're doing every hour. No judgment, no excuses. At the end of that day, you'll see the truth. Investment. And sometimes that truth stings. You realize you're spending 2 hours on distractions and only 20 minutes on something that could change your future. But that sting is a gift because now you know what to cut and what to keep. Next, look at your habits. What do you do daily that moves you forward and what drags you backward? Maybe you're great at showing up to work on time, but terrible at showing up for yourself. Maybe you always pay your bills, but never save anything extra. This is where honesty matters most. You can't build a new life on top of old patterns that don't serve you. And then comes money. Pull out your bank statements. Look at where every dollar is going. Most people avoid this because it's uncomfortable to see how much is wasted on things that don't really matter. But once you know the numbers, you can take control. You can decide where your money should go instead of wondering where it all went. The purpose of this audit isn't to make you feel bad. It's to give you clarity. Clarity is what creates change. When you see exactly how you're spending your time, what habits you're repeating, and where your money flows, you finally have a map of your current life. And once you have that map, you can start drawing a new one. That's why this step is so powerful. It's not glamorous, it's not exciting, but it's the foundation that everything else is built on. Without it, the rest of the plan doesn't matter because you can't transform what you refuse to acknowledge. Once you've taken a hard look at your life and you've laid everything out in front of you, the next move is to choose one clear target. And this part is where most people trip themselves up because they try to do everything at once. They set 10 different goals, get fit, earn more money, build a business, read more, wake up earlier, and then they wonder why nothing sticks. The truth is, when your energy is divided across too many directions, you spread yourself so thin that you don't make real progress anywhere. It feels like movement, but it's not transformation. That's why choosing one clear target is non-negotiable. It's about creating focus. Imagine holding a magnifying glass under the sun. The light is everywhere, but it doesn't do much until it's focused on one spot. That's when it creates fire. Your life works the same way. You can have good intentions scattered in every direction, or you can have laser focus in one direction that actually ignites change. So ask yourself, investment. If you could only accomplish one thing in the next 30 days, what would make the biggest impact? Maybe it's committing to your health and finally building consistency at the gym. Maybe it's putting your finances in order by saving a set amount every week. Maybe it's creating a routine that gets rid of wasted hours and gives you momentum. Whatever it is, you have to choose just one, not two, not three, one. This doesn't mean you'll never do the others. It just means you're stacking the deck in your favor. When you focus on one area, you build confidence. You start to see proof that you can follow through. That proof becomes momentum, investment. And once you have momentum, you can take on the next challenge from a position of strength instead of frustration. The clarity of a single target also makes it easier to build your daily non-negotiables because everything you do ties back to that one goal. There's no confusion, no decision fatigue. You wake up and you know exactly what you're working toward today. That sense of direction is powerful because it eliminates the gray area where most people get stuck. And here's the key: your target needs to be specific. Don't say, I want to be healthier. Say, that's why we'll work out for 30 minutes every day for 30 days. Don't say, I want to save money. Say, I will save $10 a day for the next 30 days. Specifics give you something measurable, something you can track. And when you track it, you see progress. Progress keeps you motivated, and motivation keeps you moving forward. Once you've identified that one clear target, the question becomes, how do you actually move toward it in a way that's sustainable? The answer is by creating daily non-negotiables. These are the habits, the actions, the small commitments you do every single day without fail. They're not optional. That makes a good investment. They're not something you squeeze in when you have time. They're the backbone of your transformation. Here's why this matters. Change doesn't come from one massive effort. It comes from a series of consistent actions compounded over time. It's easy to get excited at the beginning, to have a burst of motivation and say, I'm going to work 10 hours straight. But then the next day you burn out. Non-negotiables aren't about doing something extreme. Investment. They're about creating rituals that are small enough to be manageable, but powerful enough to make progress inevitable. For example, if your target is financial investment, your daily non-negotiable could be as simple as tracking every expense the moment it happens, or committing to moving a set amount into savings before you spend a single dollar. If your target is health, your non-negotiable might be drinking water first thing in the morning, or doing a workout no matter how busy your day gets. These aren't massive goals on their own, but stacked together over 30 days, they completely shift your identity. You stop being someone who trees to change and become someone who lives in alignment with their goals every single day. The beauty of non-negotiables is that they eliminate excuses. You don't wake up wondering, investment, should I do this today? You already decided it's part of who you are now. And because the actions are small and clear, you can't hide behind the excuse of not having time or energy. Everyone has 5 minutes investment. Everyone has $10 to put aside. Everyone has the ability to show up in some way. It's not about the scale of the action. It's about the consistency of it. Another powerful part of this process is the psychological shift that happens. When you keep promises to yourself, even small ones, you start to build trust in your own word. That trust compounds into confidence. And confidence is the engine that keeps you going, even when motivation fades. Because motivation will fade, that's guaranteed. But when your habits are locked in as non-negotiables, you don't need to rely on feeling inspired. You simply follow through because that's who you are now. But the mistake most people make is setting non-negotiables that are too big. They want to commit to something massive and dramatic because it feels exciting, but then when real life gets in the way, they fail. Instead, start small. Investment small enough that you could do it on your worst day. That's the standard, because if you can do it when you're tired, busy, or stressed, then you'll never miss. And when you never miss, you build momentum that carries you far beyond those 30 days. So if you want transformation, anchor it in daily non-negotiables. Make them simple, make them consistent, and most importantly, make them non-negotiable. So the challenge is simple but not easy. Pick one clear target and commit to it fully. Not halfway, not when you feel like it, but fully. And because the difference between wishing for change and creating change is the decision to focus on one thing until it's done. The final piece of this plan is where most people either succeed or fail. And it all comes down to how well you measure and adjust along the way. Because here's the truth: no matter how perfect your plan looks on day one, real life is going to test it. You'll run into obstacles you didn't expect. Investment, you'll notice some habits working better than others. And if you don't pause to reflect and adjust, you risk repeating the same mistakes over and over. That's why a weekly review is so powerful. It turns the process from blind action into intentional growth. Think of it like driving a car. If you're heading toward a destination and the road starts to curve, you don't just keep the wheel locked in place, you adjust. If you didn't, you'd crash. The same goes for your goals. Every 7 days, take the time to step back and look at what you actually did. Did you hit your daily non-negotiables? Where did you fall short? More importantly, why did you fall short? Was it because the goal was too ambitious, or because you let excuses creep in? That level of honesty allows you to make small course corrections before they turn into bigger problems. Another reason this matters is because it keeps you accountable. When you know you're going to sit down at the end of the week and review your progress, you approach each day with more focus. You're not just going through the motions. You're building a track record that you'll have to look at in black and white. And sometimes that review feels amazing. You see progress, you realize you're sticking to your commitments, and it builds confidence. Other times it stings, investment, because you see where you wasted time or avoided the hard work. But both outcomes are useful. Progress tells you what to double down on. Struggles show you where to pivot. The key here is not to confuse adjusting with quitting. Adjusting means making your habits fit better into your life so that they remain sustainable. If a non-negotiable is too ambitious, shrink it down to something you can stick with every single day. If you realize you're wasting an hour scrolling on your phone at night, create a boundary like charging your phone outside your bedroom. These are not massive changes, but they compound into better results because they keep you consistent. And don't underestimate how motivating it is to see your own progress stacked week after week. Even small wins add up, and when you can look back at a month of consistent effort, it fuels you to keep going. Investment. That's when transformation becomes real. It's not the grand plan that changes you. It's the willingness to track, to learn, and to adapt until success is no longer optional but inevitable.